Tonight we're still talking a little bit about where it's called Fireside Chat. I think we're going to be in various places, and mind when we start. It's been a bit of
technology. You gotta love it, especially when it doesn't work so well. But you did well there, I must say.
it's all rough. Now, all of you, many of you. So I must just sit right so that you can hear me. Know Jessica already. If you haven't met Jessica already, this is Jessica, and I advise you that you join her for some of her chats in the week. And I say advise because there's going to be some interesting topics going on, and I'm sure there's going to be some interesting ones tonight. Actually,
controversial, yeah. The whole concept of the show is we're trying to generate people's thinking towards thinking about environmental issues in slightly different ways. It's about also trying to stimulate debate so that younger people start to get involved, because if young people aren't interested in conservation and they're not prepared to engage in debate and maybe think a little bit more laterally about things and possible solutions, then we're in for a bit of a rough time. So through the show, we're hoping to get people thinking about stuff, get people engaged about environmental issues, and hopefully attract that younger dynamic,
Well, we are going to, one of my aims tonight, but immediately, we've got an interesting discussion. The young people are always an interesting one. Young people, I mean everyone between sort of 5, 6 is a good age to start being interested in wildlife, up to about 9 to 100, I guess. But specifically, we're looking at the sort of late teens into 30, 40s.
Yeah.
That sort of. I mean, is that part of what you're talking about?
It is. It's kind of like that pop culture thing, because you're a bush person, you're an environment person. We all are. At Wild Earth, and so are the viewers, but it's one of those things where people who are already involved in wildlife know what the issues are, and if we can take those messages as people loving the environment and spread it around and get the younger minds involved, then we stand a chance about getting somewhere. I mean, think about how mankind has evolved. I mean, at one point our entire existence relied on our connectedness with our environments. And as the years have gone...
I'm going to, not controversial here, but why do you say at one point, as if in the past?
Well, it is, actually, okay, good point in return. Touché. Okay, the way I see it is as follows, is that, man is a tremendous being. We have so many incredible positive attributes to share, but we're almost kind of victims of our own success. And this is not a doom and gloom story. It's about embracing what you've got and using it wisely. But, imagine if we were sort of San Bushmen, I'm just using them as an example, or any indigenous peoples, for example. There was a time when people sailed the sailed the earth and the seas.
There probably was a time when they sailed the planets, but we just forgot about it already.
Yeah,
it's a little bit lost in history.
Oh, the ancient Egyptians, another story. No, I'm teasing. Yeah. But it's about, we used to use stars for navigation. We used to look up at the heavenly bodies and kind of use it to help guide our lives. We were far more in tune with the weather. We were far more in tune with the seasons, and I think our modern lifestyle really kind of puts a wedge in that factor, and it's about bringing city kids. We're in the dark.
It's gone dark.
Yeah.
I know what that is. No, I think just switch that light off for now. Sorry everyone, we can fix this while we talk, and we won't lose an ad break. What you said, you still got that light working? No. Switch it off. The blue one. Back again, unfortunately, I can't get that backlight going, so a little bit not as ideal lighting as Patrick would like. We're going to talk with later about filmmaking and wildlife filmmaking. I think this is maybe some of the other wild stuff that he's filmed over time, playing around with this set. Sorry, we were sort of rudely dimmed out there. And let me just do it for now. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Yeah.
No, well, it was just that, we've come so far and people are very heavily involved in technology now, and it's about getting young people, reminding people that we rely on a healthy earth in order to survive. And if we can find something about that earth that can connect with our souls, that can get us excited again, that can get us thinking about these things, then we can really make progress. And we've got to get the young people in there to, help us with a bit of forward thinking, a bit of lateral thinking, and reconnect everybody again.
Definitely. Now, I want to get back to the idea and the concept, a lot of things about the talk in a little bit more about your slap show. But just starting with young people, maybe, where or how or why did you get interested and ended up being, in the thick of wildlife filmmaking in lots of different ways? I mean, you've been part of lots of things. There's some exciting possibilities for you guys in the future as well.
Yeah.
And how did you end up in it?
I've always been involved with wildlife causes from when I was little, thanks to my parents being heavily involved in wildlife. And sort of as I grew up, I got involved in all sorts of things. I was a young volunteer at the Johannesburg Zoo, and I went on projects and wildlife management courses and all sorts of things from when I was a teenager. And over time, I worked in various things. I lived overseas for 4 years, and I traveled quite a lot. And I always wanted to come back to Africa because I thought that this was kind of like where I was connected.
You hear that?
I can hear.
Elephant. Can you guys hear that? Just in the background there. Sorry, I was listening.
Oh, no.
It's just there's some elephants calling.
I'd rather listen to the Ellies than my own voice, but anyway. And over the most recent years, I lectured sort of anthropology to students at one of our Johannesburg universities. And I've always loved children. I've always loved young people. I love the way they think. They don't pull any punches. There's sometimes, as you get older, you tend to get a bit molded in your thinking, and their thinking is very diverse still with the youth. And it's another reserve where Pat and I have our contract. They have a wilderness school there, the Lapalala Wilderness School. And I can't tell you what absolute pleasure it gives us to see these young minds, from the tiniest little 5-year-olds right through until people in their 20s, just being inspired, and their eyes open and their minds. You can see this light shining on their brains when suddenly you show them this whole natural world. They look at it in a different way, and that's where that positive process begins. It's just finding that trigger in that mind, and I just love it. I love young people. I've got tons of energy, so I can share that with them. And I've always loved it, and I've just always been involved. And, Pat and I were both doing careers at one point where we were feeling very unfulfilled, And we just took that plunge, and we knew that when we do something with our lives, it's got to mean something. It's got to bring a positive message across. It's got to make people think. And so when we had the opportunity to come here and work with you guys on the Wild Earth team and, have an opportunity to stimulate environmental debate, we really just took the bull by the horns and we decided to go for it. So, yeah, here we are.
Brilliant. So you say actually you and Patrick you sort of made the decision to go into wildlife after you were doing other stuff already. So you've come quite a long way together as well through the whole process, which is, I'm still learning stuff tonight.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you ever stop learning here. We will never stop learning. Pat's been involved. He'll tell you more about this later, but he's done it all, from feature films to commercials to all sorts of things. And I remember there was a catalyst. There was a watershed moment, because all through our lives we'd known that, we needed to do something. You're looking for that thing that feeds your soul. And the one day he walked out of an edit for a chlorine advert. He'd been in the same edit room for 4 days while these guys bickered about exactly the right color blue. And he just walked out. He said, I've had it. I have had it. This is so shallow. I can't do it anymore. It's killing me. I was involved in academia, and at that point I was feeling frustrated because academia is either this far-reaching, incredible thing that feeds your mind, or you get locked into very sort of staid thinking, and I was feeling trapped. So the timing in terms of us launching sort of our new careers was absolutely perfect. So all we did really was took our working talents, combined them with our passion, because it is our passion,